Good day, everybody, and welcome back to another What's This Then? And today we're going to be asking about metaphor ReFantazio, which is the name you have to say in a fancy way. Because if you're not, why even bother? But this is a game developed by Atlas, and you may know them from the Persona series. And this game is pretty much along similar vein, except not connected to the Persona series in any way. So it's a really good way to jump into the Persona style JRPG if it's maybe something that you've been sort of looking at, you know, sort of offering the peripheral vision. If you're anything like me, that's sort of how this has been working. Because I've always seen them, and I've always been interested in them, but they're very, very big games, and I just never really got around to starting any of them. It was kind of one of those ones I need a large break in the gaming schedule really to jump into any of those. But this felt like just a great starting point, honestly. So yeah, like I said, it is a turn-based sort of JRPG in a very anime sort of art style. So very, very familiar with to the Persona series. One major difference, obviously, this being sort of more fantasy, medieval fantasy sort of setting. Now, in terms of platforms, this one comes out on pretty much all the modern stuff except Switch. So you got Windows, Xbox, both the Xbox X, Series X and Series S, PS5 and 4. Now, this one did come out on the 11th of October. I'm a little bit late in getting around to this one, but just the way things happened. And you can pick it up for £60 or $70. Now, there was no early access for this game, but there was a very, very lengthy demo, which I did try a little bit of, liked what I played, and then wanted to wait for the full thing. But I believe that demo is still available, which is fantastic, because it is a huge part of the game. Well, I say huge part of the game. Not huge relative to the full length of the game, I imagine, but by most game standards, it's a large chunk of game. Now, just to give you a sort of rundown of the premise, this is from the game's Steam page. The throne sits empty after the king's assassination. With no heirs, the will of the late king decrees that the next monarch will be elected by the people, and thus begins your fight for the throne. And that's kind of your sort of setup. I'd say the demo and the first sort of parts of the game are how you get to that point, really. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil too much about the story, but honestly, from what I've played, I am not even into what I would imagine is the story getting into full swing. It's kind of one of those games you're going to be playing it for a bit, and then you're going to get hit with the real game starts now kind of moment. So that's kind of where this one's sitting. But yeah, let's check out the system settings here so you can see what they have going on. So, as you can see, I'm playing this one with controller, and a lot of these options are going to be, or some of these options are going to be very controller-based, sort of up front, because really, you should just play this game with a controller. There's no real benefit to mouse and keyboard. Everything's very nice on the controller. No real need for, you know, mouse aiming or anything like that. You don't need a ton of hotkeys or anything, so I think this one's very good with controller. But as you can see in the system settings, you've got stuff like vibration, auto advance. This is for the dialogue. Really, really like this setting, although I do toggle it on and off depending on if we're doing a section that has a lot of reading that has no voice acting, because you will be seeing sections in the game that are fully voice acted, and then sections in the game where you're just going to be reading it. So auto advance can be good for maybe turning off and sometimes turning it off on other times, or turning on and off in certain situations, so I like that. And you can do that in the middle of conversations. You can just hit a button and it'll just turn that on and off, which is very nice. You got cutscenes you've got subtitles for the anime cutscenes, because this game, for its cutscenes, will either have in-game rendered cutscenes, or it will have this really cool anime style. Now, I'm sure if you've played the Persona series, these probably aren't unfamiliar to you. I haven't actually played the Persona series, so I'm not sure if they're actually in there as well, but I assume they are. But this will actually have, like, you're just watching an anime for some of the cutscenes, you know, so it's very cool. Have this little option. Confirmations for certain things in battles that you may or may not want to hit by accident. By default, that's off. I haven't really found this to be an issue. toggle auto lock, when enemies defeated lock onto another again, just sort of left that one default. And then you got some like camera stuff, it's all very nice. You got message speed if you want the text to sort of pop up on the screen faster and all that sort of stuff. There's like skipping animations because when you do certain like level transitions or access certain menus, there can be like a little animation that plays, and you can turn that on or off if you wish. Personally, I keep all them on because this game is oozing with artistic style and flair, and I couldn't imagine turning any of that off. Although maybe when you're 60 hours in and you have to play the short animation to access that one menu, then maybe you won't turn it off. But it's good that the option's there. Network functions, this is an interesting one because there's no multiplayer in this game, but there is moments where you get to see how other players did their loadouts, is all I'll really say, for certain like dungeons and stuff, so it's kind of interesting. It doesn't really seem super necessary, but I guess if it's just an optional thing you can chuck in there, then why not? Then you've got your language selection, all that's good stuff. Button display, love this, because you can actually set it to show Xbox buttons or, you know, Nintendo buttons or whatever. Just once again, just another great indicator that the PlayStation buttons are getting more and more commonplace, because this controller is fantastic, and every time I get a chance I will bring up how much I like this controller over all the other ones. Dash, this is just when you're in the overworld, whether you want to dash about or not. Interesting that you can turn that off. Oh, it's toggle. Okay, so it's just a toggle. Again, it's one of those things I just no real need to change. In sound settings, you've got your usual stuff: background music, volume, sound effects, volume, voice, all that sort of stuff. You can change it to be Japanese voice acting if you wish. Adjust the voice acting in both I have found to be very good. I'm very much enjoying the English one at the moment. Yeah, so that's pretty typical. Now, the graphics menu here is pretty bare bones, and normally I would have sort of a big gripe about that, but when it comes to these heavily stylized games, I tend to be a lot more lenient, because you tend to not really need them as much in these sorts of games. A lot of graphical tech isn't really, it's either not used or it's used in a very minimal way, or turning it off would completely compromise the visual identity of the game and stuff like that. And it's not like, games like these don't tend to be heavy on the system, so again, it would be nice to have those options, but them not being here for a game like this isn't the end of the world. But you can set sort of basic quality settings. I've just set mine on high. Again, no real issues. You can change the rendering scale. Ambient occlusion, toggle that on and off. Texture quality, I have to keep that on high. Frame rate limit, you can set that. Goes all the way up to 165, then uncapped. Although 120 for this sort of game I think is more than enough. And then anti-aliasing, you've got some options there. If we have a look in display, you've got your usual sort of assortment of resolution options. Although I'm in borderless right now, so it's just auto-selecting to my one. One weird thing I've had with this game is this monitor setting. My main monitor is monitor number 1. However, this game seems to think it's number 3 for some reason, so the first time I launched this game, it actually launched it on my far right monitor. Don't really know why it does that. I've had a couple of games do that. This is just another one that seems to do it. Not really too sure why. And then you got your VSync. It's all well and good. And key configuration, you can rebind all your keyboard and mouse and your controller stuff as well. You can rebind that as well. Not literally everything, like the movement controls, they don't let you change that, but all the buttons anyway, you can change those. So again, controller customizability, not something you see in every game, so always good to see. So, this is normally the part where I just say, let's load straight in, but just look at that menu screen. That is a real sign of things to come with this game. Just absolute style pouring out of every sort of place it can in this game. Absolutely gorgeous. And you can hear the music a little bit in the background too there. It's got great music. The Persona series being known for having some of the best gaming music, period. And this, I wouldn't say gets quite to those heights, but it's definitely good. It's definitely very good, especially in some places. Now, I'm going to load in to an old save. I'm actually much further than this. However, this is a good spot, I thought, for showing off some of like the combat and stuff in a non-spoilery way. because where I'm at in the story at the moment would be very spoilery, and I want to try and avoid that for you. But this is a dungeon that we're in, so you sort of go through it, you get items, you fight monsters. I'm not sure if there's going to be many like optional dungeons. Again, I'm not familiar with the Persona or the Atlas formula, let's say. So right now this is like a story dungeon, sort of forced to go through here. But as you can see, the game does look very nice. Even like the little details in the environment and stuff like that. Even though they're not going for the fully sort of anime style literally everywhere, you know, the characters obviously stand out artistically compared to like the backgrounds and stuff. They do look well and don't look out of place, you know. It doesn't look like a cartoon character walking on a realistic environment or anything like that. It does all look very good. And the anime style, I think, just, yeah, looks really well. So we've got like a little vendor here. He sells stuff to us. I think in dungeons it's going to be a common thing just to find vendors in them. So not too unexpected. But let's see if we can find something to fight. So we'll head through this door here. I'll try and just sort of skip through the dialogue so you don't have to worry about getting spoiled for anything there. I've already been through this bit, so I don't mind not seeing it. And, oh yes, this fight. So this will give me a good chance to show off the combat. So, turn-based RPG, so we take our turns, they take their turns, we smack each other about until one of us is dead. So you can see at the top of the screen, these like floating crystals, there are turns. So we have 3 turns, we also have 3 characters, so we're probably going to get, you know, 1 move with each character. However, there is a system in this game where if you exploit an enemy's weakness, it actually only uses half one of those crystals, and someone else gets another turn. And that's a big part of the strategy and sort of maximizing your potential in fights and stuff. Now, enemies also get this bonus as well. And that actually does lead me on to a little bit about the difficulty. I originally started this game on hard, which is 1 down from the hardest. If this is your first time playing a game like this, I would recommend normal. Hard, from what I understand, really only puts up how many turns the enemy gets. It doesn't make things really that much more challenging, it just sort of made things more punishing, if that makes sense. And for a first time playthrough of a game like this, that's not really the vibe I was going for. But obviously it's to each their own, and you can change it at any time. So I got like to a little bit previous of this fight here on hard, and I was just like, you know what, not feeling it, I'll swap it down to normal. And I've been having a good time with that, so. And it's still challenging, you know, it's not just like a cakewalk or anything. So let's, oh yeah, so you can move people back and forward, you have the front line and the back line. If you're in the back line, you take less damage, but you also do less melee damage. So we got our character here, Stroll. He is our sort of, right now he's my like melee and tank kind of guy, so we got him in the front line. So you can see here we can hit square just to do a regular melee attack, circle to raise guard, R1 to yield our turn, and the, what is that on the PlayStation? I think it's like the options button or something like that. They changed it from the start button ages ago. That's to open up our items, but you can see at the top there, archetype. Now this is kind of like one of the big things about this game, narratively and in the combat sense. And you can see in the bottom right, you can actually see the archetypes next to the character portraits. And if I hit triangle, our character will actually transform into their archetype, and you can see what skills they get. This character just has a passive and a diagonal slash. And then you can choose to do any one of these, but these will cost mana points. Or Magla points, I believe they're called in this, but magic points essentially. And then you can do sort of an attack like that, so we'll just hit this guy with a big diagonal slash.
I'll cut you down.
And we can see this guy's got quite a bit of health. So this is our main character here. Actually voiced protagonist, which I was not expecting. From what I understand, the Persona series does not have a voiced protagonist. You still get to name him and stuff, but yeah, it's just interesting to see. So his archetype is the Seeker. So he gets like it's a bit of a jack of all trades kind of one. So what we'll do here is we'll hit him with wind magic. Oh, but maybe not actually, because he's got bird feathers. So this is kind of how you have to think. Because some enemies are going to be resistant to certain types of attacks, so we don't want to hit them with that. And also, there's certain things where if you miss an enemy, or if they block your attack, they can actually take turns away from you, or immediately skip your turn and make it their turn. So you actually have to be very careful about what you attack. You can't just mindlessly attack, which is a lot of fun, actually. It adds a lot to these. I'm going to hit him with this and see what happens. So he did resist it, so we didn't do as much as we could have done. And then my archetype for this is kind of like a mage. So it can cast like, you know, fire and ice and stuff. So I imagine ice probably going to do quite well against you. Yeah, so he's weak. So as you can see, my crystal only went down by half, and Stroll actually gets another move to do something here. So like I said, just a big part of the overall strategy for this. So we'll see what he's going to do back here. It's a really funny design. Like it gives me very like Attack on Titan sort of vibes, where the designs are goofy but also like quite disturbing at the same time. Like it runs that fine line. I think it's very well done.
Is there another way?
So let's actually, I'm going to use this that increases one ally's attack for 3 turns, because you've got something that makes them that they're weak against, so we'll empower you.
No need to. Let's go. Freeze.
And now he does big damage.
In the name of justice, warrior.
I'll just keep smacking him about here.
I'll cut you down. The freedom of a wanderer.
And then, you know, you can just keep smacking away here. Let's see, what's he gonna do in his turn? Oh, okay. Oh, so that was... So I didn't notice because I was kind of talking, but he does have a move that targets the entire front line, and you kind of have to dynamically move all your characters into the back line to dodge it. But I completely forgot about that. But thankfully I'm kind of stocking up on revival stuff. So this is the sort of inventory screen. You've got your typical stuff, you know, like restores HP, restores more HP, restores super HP, restores HP to everyone at once. Ones that restore Magla, ones that do status ailments, things that deal damage, you know, just your typical sort of JRPG stuff. So we'll actually revival medicine, and we'll use it on my character, so he's got a heal. Let's see what he does to that. And he's dead again. I actually never seen him do that move the first time. I thought that like little AoE fire move that wasn't the big wind up. So we'll just hit you with this. And then we can revive, so we can actually do both. Yeah, that's what it should have done the first time. So it's all about action economy and stuff, you know. Learning to do stuff in the best orders. I actually die. So this was actually a fairly tough fight the first time I did it. Honestly, it was because I didn't dodge that big fireball at the start. Fantasy is dead. There you go. As you can see, I was just showing off what the death screen looks like. You can thank me later. Do that again. This time I'll not get hit by the big fire in the middle this time. But yeah, the archetypes are really interesting. I'm a big fan of them. Because there's something to work towards, because they're not just you get it and forget it. They level up, and you can actually like move skills between the ones that you've learned and sort of multi-class a little bit with them. And there's a lot of them as well. Like I've only got 3 here, and there's a good bit more. I've already gotten a few more as well, I'll say a few more. I think I've gotten 1 more actually, since I've been playing through the game, but I expect to be getting those at a pretty healthy pace. Okay, so let's do this nice and early, so that you can hit him with Blizz and start doing some weakness. Very nice. And then Stroll, you can just start chopping away as usual. So this is the sort of game that, you know, I've put about 10 hours into it or so now, and it's probably only scratching the surface of this sort of game. So there could be any number of things that show up in this game later that, you know, obviously I'm not going to be able to show you or really tell you about in a first impressions video. So I sort of recommend for this game especially that, you know, look out other reviews and stuff. This really is just like a first impression style. So But so far I'm having an absolutely fantastic time, especially sort of getting acquainted with the Atlas magic, you know, because the Persona series is a very highly regarded one, and with this sort of quality I can absolutely see why.
Maybe not.
And because... Okay, there's definitely something I've discovered since doing these first impression videos, and that is that it is hard to pay attention to the game while also talking about the game in a video sense. So I've just died there again. But that tactically, okay, gives me another thing I can talk about. And that is, at any point in a fight, you can hit L3 and retry a battle from the beginning. And just like that, we're back at the start. So, you know, this fight, like, was going terribly. You know, I missed the bonfire thing. Doesn't matter, just hit that button and you're right back at the start of the fight. May have forgotten about that the first time I did the fight, because I haven't had to use it yet, but sure look, you know, you know about it now.
Let me help.
Okay, let's not troll about this time, let's actually do some business. So on his turn he's gonna set up this big attack. Front row is being targeted, so you have to pay attention. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to that sort of stuff. So if we move back, and we'll actually heal. Do a little heal here. And then we'll hit you with some ice magic again, because we know you're weak. And because Stroll's going to get another turn... Actually, no, he's not going to get another turn, so we'll need to go back here. Then we can still use this. I believe anything in the triangle category will count as like a ranged attack, even if it's his archetype's big melee swing, so I don't think he gets a negative damage from doing it from back there. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure on that. We're all kind of full health, so you can just smack him up a little bit there. Okay, and now his big attack is going to miss everyone. Very nice. So now we can get back into just beating the shit out of them. Yeah, I really like the designs, because you'll find like typical sort of fantasy designs, but these particular monsters, and when if you play the game yourself, they have a very interesting name that's kind of hinted at by what this one's called. Oh, no, we don't want you to move up. You can stay back there and just blast him with the magic. And you slash him up, very nice. And is he gonna do some very nasty business to me here? Okay, that's not too bad. If he wants to attack my guy in the backline there, that is totally fine, because he is very resistant to damage at this point. I think your damage buff is wore off, so let's give that to you again. Or it's about to anyway, so we'll just rebuff that. Hit him with the Blizz again. Smack him up. You've run out of MP. Yeah, so just smack him away as normal, I guess. Really, this fight is based around my mage. Oh, so he actually did some weakness. He exploded a weakness on one of my characters, so he got an extra turn as well there. So I think it's my main character is weak to fire. And I believe that's based on his archetype, although I'm not 100% on that yet. Still a ton of stuff to learn. One of the coolest things about this game is you get access to this big like sort of encyclopedia of all the concepts and stuff that you sort of find out. So you're never really too lost, which is very nice. And this might kill? Not quite. He might kill two of us here. Oh, he's going to target the front line again, but we should be able to kill him. Yeah. Yeah, he'll die. There we go. Simple as that, really. First try. I'll cut out all those other attempts in the post, you know, for the YouTube recording.
Not bad, if I say
And you rank up your characters, and you also rank up the actual archetypes as well. And as the characters rank up, you get to do little stat increases. Every time you rank up, you get a sequential stat increase, like it goes top to bottom and then just top to bottom again. It keeps doing that, and then you also get 1 point to spend yourself on whatever you want. So I'm just gonna chuck that in there. And then, like I said, we're just gonna skip that dialogue, and just like that, we're through here. Open up the little map, and you can kind of see this is kind of how dungeon sort of layouts are, at least this one anyway. So you got like some treasure and enemies and stuff like that to find. But yeah, so far I'm having a really good time with this game. It's a lot of fun. It's absolutely massive. Like, you're in for an absolute adventure with this one. I'm hearing a lot of good word about this game being a potential Game of the Year candidate, which has me very excited to keep exploring the game. Oh yes, one thing, while you're in dungeons in like the sort of overworld, I guess, you can actually attack like this, and certain enemies you can actually just kill outright like this. If they're super weak, you don't need to bother going into like a turn-based battle with them. And then some enemies you can actually hit enough and stun them, and you'll gain the advantage in combat. However, if you get hit by the enemy while trying to do that, then they get the advantage in combat. And whenever I was playing on hard difficulty, there was one enemy who I didn't manage to get the stun off in time, and he hit me and killed me in 1 turn. And it was like, at that point I was like, okay, hard mode is punishing. You know, it's for when you know the game. Or it's the fucking learn fast mode. So, that's kind of how that one went. But yeah, like I said, having a great time with this one. It's a lot of fun. Very anime. I know a lot of people, well, I say a lot of people, I don't really know if it's a lot of people, but I know some people can be very put off by that kind of style of sort of character writing and world building and stuff like that. But if you like that sort of thing, you're absolutely in for a treat here. Just trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about with this game. I suppose I'll show, actually, yeah, I'll show the equipment. So it's fairly basic sort of equipment stuff. You have your weapon, you just sort of swap that out, your armor, your gear, and your accessory, and you can also see what your archetype is at the top here. Now, your archetype will determine what kind of, like, say, weapon you can use. So, for example, in my current save of the game, I have a different archetype, and it means that I can't use this weapon, and I'm actually using, like, a scepter. So, that can have effects on that sort of thing. I believe armor and gear you can sort of set with anyone. And then accessories, they can just be like strong little buffs or little like just basic accessories that you can put on just because you want it. You can interact with your party here, and you can actually set their tactics, which is pretty cool. Because you can set it to auto battle. If there's a fight that you just are like, yeah, I know we'll win this, I don't even want to bother. You can just hit a button and turn on auto battle, and the tactics that you set here will kind of determine what they do when you set them to auto battle. So you can just have them do like party fights at their own discretion, conserving consumables, fight to kill. They'll just do whatever they can to kill what is in front of them, whether that be use consumables, whatever. I haven't really used this yet so far because I'm learning the game. I've been doing all the fights myself, so but at some point I'll move on to this and see how that sort of does. And you can also set formations here, like front and back line, you know, if you've got a fight coming up that you know you want to have a certain thing for. And also with it being a Persona game, relationships are a big part of it. So you actually see here, here's a couple people that you know, and here's your sort of relationship with them. And as you rank that up, you know, you'll have various story beats, you'll have maybe some like maybe quests will open up. Like, I'm not 100% sure yet, because like I said, don't have Persona experience, so I can't say for 100% what's going to happen, but that's my sort of guess anyway. And this is the kind of, oh yeah, this is the like encyclopedia that sort of lets you know about all the different stuff. So like if you want to know about the different tribes or the history of the place and all this sort of stuff. And this is fantastic, because you're going to get bombarded with a ton of information with this being a big, you know, fantasy world with a lot going on. So it's really good that this is here. Anything that you forget about, anything you need caught up on, you just come in here and you can read up on about it and get sort of reacquainted. very good, especially if you take a break. Because it's a big game, you're probably going to take a break from it every now and again. So, good way to sort of get yourself back into the swing of things. Now, there are some DLCs for this game. I actually just want to show you what those are real quick. So, as you can see here, they've just got some, like, outfit and, like, background music stuff. It's nothing too crazy, nothing I would sort of say is really worth buying, to be honest, unless you see one of them and go, like, yeah, I really want that. I don't think there's a season pass or anything like that for this. I'm not 100% sure if they have any planned expansions or anything like that. I have a feeling they won't. I don't believe the Persona series really did that sort of thing. It had like sort of re-releases of the game later with more content, like Persona Royal, Persona Golden, and stuff like that. So this one might be similar to that, but as of right now, the only DLCs are those like little cosmetic ones and background music and stuff, so nothing too crazy there. But yeah, to sort of conclude on this one, absolutely fantastic game. There's a lot for the money here. I would say that for the full price of the game, it seems very worth it. Obviously, to each their own on that one, but I feel like I feel like I'm going to get my money's worth, you know? Like what the game has set up, where the game's going, the systems it's put in place. I feel like that's a strong basis going forward into the rest of the game. I can absolutely see how this is going to open up and just turn into an absolutely massive game that I'm going to have a really good time with. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think of the new microphone. I wanted to leave that till the end to say that, to see if anyone noticed. But hopefully everything still sounds good for this video. Obviously I'll be re-listening to it, and I won't post one that has audio issues, but, well, maybe if I don't catch them, who knows. Still kind of new to YouTube recording stuff, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall catch you guys on the next one. See ya.